new here, welcome. So today I'm going to be showing you how you can achieve this Mother Ginger makeup look from the Nutcracker and the Four Realms. This is my third video for my 12 Days of SFX-mas, and if you're new and you don't know what that is, for 12 days in the month of December, I'm going to be uploading a new Christmas-themed special effects makeup look. I thought that this would be really fun because it kind of challenges me to target Christmas-inspired makeup looks in particular, and it's like a once-a-year kind of thing, so it's kind of fun. I do have a 12 Days of SFX-mas last year that I will link down below for you guys so you can check it out, kind of see what I'm talking about. Anyways, with all that being said, if you guys are interested in seeing how you can achieve this Mother Ginger makeup look, then just keep watching. Hey guys, so to get started, I'm going to be taking my Buckle Bunny Beauty Fringe Benefit Primer and just applying that all over my face before moving on to foundation. I'm going to be mixing my Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation in light neutral with my NYX Total Control foundation in porcelain because we kind of want to pull in some of those light porcelain colors, being that she's basically a cracked porcelain doll. I'm then going to be taking my Buckle Bunny Beauty Creamed Powder Foundation in Mocha and using this as cream contour. So I'm going to be applying this to all of the areas that we want to add a shadow before blending it out with a large fluffy brush. I'm then going to be taking my ColourPop No Filter Concealer in number 14 and applying this to the areas that I now want to highlight. So this is going to be under my eyes, under my cheekbones, my cupid's bow, chin, and my forehead and temples. So I went ahead and let that set for a little bit while I filled in my eyebrows just so that this will be more opaque when we start to blend it out. And to blend it out, I am using my ColourPop F5 Small Fluffy Brush. Moving on, I'm going to be taking my Airspun Translucent Powder and applying that to the concealer to let that bake while we move on to eyeshadow. I'm going to be prepping my eyelids with my Smashbox 24-Hour Photo Finish Primer. Before we move on to our Morphe and James Charles palette, I'm going to be taking this cream color and just applying that all over the lid so we can have a nice base. Before moving on to this khaki color, I'm going to be applying this on to the lash line. I'm also going to be taking the white eyeshadow and applying that to the brow bone to help highlight that before we move on to the lower lash line, taking that same khaki color to just add a little bit more definition to the lower part of our eyes. I'm also going to be taking my NYX Epic Ink Liner and we're just going to be creating a nice simple thin line on our upper lash line. We're then going to be going into this cranberry color and applying that to the lower lash line before we move back to our NYX Epic Ink Liner, and we're going to be creating a thin line on our lower lash line before we start to create the fake eyelashes. When watching the movie, it did seem like these fake eyelashes were painted on, so I'm just going to be replicating that, and I'm just going to be creating 4 triangle fake eyelashes on the lower lash line. I actually spread mine out a little bit too much when I looked at it at the very end, so I would actually recommend trying to squish these together so it is a smaller surface area and it doesn't cover up too much of your lower lash line, because then that's going to really help create that doll-like effect. I also went ahead and highlighted my lower waterline to really help open those eyes up a bit before going back into the cranberry eyeshadow and applying that to the inner corner of the crease. This is really going to help add that ruddy look that Helen Mirren has in the movie. I'm also going to be taking my Too Faced Cocoa Contour Palette, taking medium and dark cocoa, and using this to go over the cream contour from earlier, not only to help set it, but to help define it more as well. I'm then going to be taking my Physicians Formula Butter Blush in Plum Rose and applying that to the same areas I added the contour before going into my Buckle Bunny Beauty Honey Bunny Blush and applying that all over my cheeks. Next, we're moving on to the face paint. So I'm going to be taking my Mare on Paradise paint in black, and we're going to be using a reference photo from the movie. I highly recommend this one from Helen Mirren's poster. This just really helped show as much of the cracks as possible. Now, I did notice in the movie that she seemed to have more cracks on the opposite side of her face, but I couldn't fully remember what they looked like, so I just kind of ended up making almost like a checkered board sort of look. And so what I actually recommend for this is, because the lines are very thin and straight and jagged, I actually used my spatula for most of the sketch work just so we can really get those nice thin lines, just because all my brushes seem to taper out and end up being too thick, and for cracks you really want to be able to have thin lines and thicker lines to help make it look as realistic as possible. So whenever I needed to have a thicker area, I just went ahead and went into my brush just to fill in some blank areas that would have not really worked out to use the spatula for. But overall, I really recommend this technique. It really helps give nice thin lines, and for me it was just super easy because I don't seem to have a steady hand. I'm then going to be going on to the highlights, so I'm going to be taking my Marion Paradise paint in white, and once again, using the photo as a reference for where the light is really hitting the cracks, I'm going to be replicating that as best as possible. I recommend laying down a little bit of white, and if it ends up being too intense, just quickly using your finger to blend it out. You don't want the white to be too intense, but the white is a pivotal role in this look because without highlights, the makeup is going to end up looking flat. I made this mistake a long time ago when I was in high school, so anytime I do any kind of cracks now, I highly recommend doing white highlight on the cracks. Next, I recommend adding some shadow to the cracks to help make it look a little bit more three-dimensional. So I did use the photo for reference, and then I just kind of ended up putting shadows wherever I felt that it was necessary and where the cracks would be lifting a little bit, and there would naturally be a shadow on the rest of the skin. I'm then going to be prepping my eyelashes by curling them before going to my Tarte Lights Caramel Lashes mascara and just sweeping that through my eyelashes before we move on to lips. For lips, I'm going to start off by taking my ColourPop Lippie Sticks in Julep and also my ColourPop Lippie Sticks in Razor and just applying that onto my lips before moving on to this orange eyeshadow from the palette and just applying that to the very center of the lips. I'm also going to be taking my NYX lip liner in deep purple and just outlining my lips with that because her character does seem to have a little bit more definition on the lips than other characters. You don't really want to blend the lip liner into the lips, you definitely want it to stand out a little bit more than normal. We're then going to be taking our BH Cosmetics Spotlight Highlight Palette, taking Glow and Dream, and just applying that to the areas that we want to really help add that shiny porcelain effect. So this is going to be my forehead, my cheekbones, my nose, and you're going to add a little bit more definition of highlight with this color from the Morphe James Charles palette, and you're going to be just applying it over top of the highlight and also bringing it on to the eyelids and the inner corner of the eyes. And that is the completed look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below if you'd like to see next. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel so you can see more of my 12 Days of SFX-mas videos. And with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!